You are requested to come into the hall in preparation for the opening ceremony. Once again, we are requesting all the delegates who are outside to get into the hall in readiness for the opening ceremony.
Check one, check 1 2 1 2 2 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2 2 2. Oh.
to code this? Do you have something about it?
So don't worry, no, it's fine. We just need to thank our co-hosts. So just mention them and then thank the sponsors.
So what's right after this one?
Tony, if I move this slide, there's one and
Oh, I
the
don't
room
see it.
yeah. You'll just have to speak in sync for a second and
So
figure
then,
out.
if you're advancing, am I standing with my device?
Yes. I will hand over the mic. Do you just want to come? If you come here and just click this, you can change to the next slide.
But you can be around it and it starts working.
Yes. Yes. If I see things start to Tony, stop.
So is this work?
I think this works, yes.
Okay. But I thought the one opening it anyways.
Where would you like us to stand? Up here? I would like you to stand on this side.
Check 1 2.
Hello, everyone. Is it audible? Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. You're welcome to this opening ceremony. I would like to request those people who are still standing behind there to just take their seats, and we start. So we're going to start by doing the national anthem of Kenya and East Africa and Africa. So please be upstanding for the national anthems.
Nguvu yetu Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tulilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu. idumu jumuiya yetu. Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. Let us all unite.
Thank you. Please remain upstanding for a word of prayer by Mr. Kizito.
Okay, let's bow our heads for a word of prayer. Our dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you this afternoon for having enabled all of us even to travel from the different places that we came from, all over Africa, into this center. We want to thank you for our leaders who are gathered here together with us. We want to thank you even for the hosts and the organizers of this conference, this symposium. As we get into the opening ceremony, we want to commit our chief guests and all our guests into your hand. And we want to commit all the participants of this conference, and we pray for all the deliberations that you shall give us wisdom and guidance, but beyond all that we shall learn from this, we shall be able to take it back to the children of Africa who needs the support to make their future also bright. We thank you for your grace and your favor, for we ask this believing, trusting in the name of our Lord and our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kogola.
Thank you very much. As you take your seats, ready for the opening ceremony of this very interesting symposium, which we are calling STEMtastic Adventure Africa. Chinua Achebe, the renowned African writer, said that when we gather together in the moonlight, village ground, it is not because of the moon. Every man can see it in his own compound. We come together because it is good for kinsmen to do so. And so therefore this afternoon, honorable ministers, guests, delegates, and stakeholders in the education sector, we are gathered here as Africans for just one sole purpose, to have this conversation. My name is Martin Mungai. I'm your MC for the day. My co-MC.
My name is Mary Effie Akinyi. I am Director of Communications and Engagement for the M Education Alliance, and I will be Mr. Mungai's co-MC.
Thank you very much. Without further much ado, would like to invite our host, who is the CEO of STEMtastic, Mrs. Jacinta Akata, to do the welcoming remarks.
Thank you, Martin and Effie. Honorable ministers present, including our own distinguished guests, good afternoon. Mine is very simple, just to welcome you to the Center of Mathematics, Science and Technology Education Africa. We feel extremely honored and privileged to host you. So I will take this opportunity to invite Anthony Bloom, Executive Director, MED Alliance, Education Alliance, to be able to give us more information. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, again, thank you for Dr. Akata for the gracious hosting of our first regional STEMtastic event in anywhere, literally the treat that we have it in Kenya. I also want to thank our other co-host from AUDA NAPAD for being partners in the spirit of being able to set up a great conference over the next 4 days. For our honorable ministers that are here, we introduced a new vocabulary term this morning, saying STEMtastic good morning, STEMtastic good afternoon, and STEMtastic good evening. Is that correct? Could I get everybody to please share the greeting with me? STEMtastic good morning, STEMtastic afternoon, STEMtastic good evening. In the spirit of introducing an exciting term that we also share the same embrace of joy that kids have when they have to be introduced to a wonderful education and the great work the institutions are doing. I know in a moment they'll be individually recognized, but this is an exceptional event that we have so many colleagues from around the world, but want to acknowledge the representatives from the many African countries that are in attendance, and maybe we could give a round of applause for... And in addition to our hosts with the Kenyan government, we know the ministers around the world are working day in and day out to bring the joy of learning to the youth in their countries. So we applaud you for your efforts. We also want to thank the sponsors of the symposium. I don't think I need 2 mics. And thank you for your early support. For example, the Spix Foundation and AWS for their early commitment that we were able to move forward with this conference. The M Education Alliance, of which I'm the executive director, I started when I was at USAID, and I was the senior education technology advisor for that agency. Before that, I was Peace Corps' technology for development advisor, and before that, I was at the World Bank as a distance education specialist. In all those institutions, there was typically only one Tony, or a few Tonys, but the spirit of the alliance was to join together with a variety of other development and donor agencies really to erode what we call silos of excellence, so that we could share experiences with each other and extend good practices. We've done 14 global conferences, including the last 2 conferences we've held in Washington, D.C., that have been STEM themed. But this is the first regional STEM conference that we're doing, and we're delighted that it could take place in Africa and in Kenya. Just in terms of the numbers of some of the statistics about the event, we have over 30 countries that are represented. We have I think we have over 130 presentations, so this slide might be a little bit old. And if you can imagine, in the next 2 days, we're going to have 5 tracks covering 130 presentations. So it's be really busy with lots of information exchange. We have 550 attendees, if not more. So again, celebrate all those who have traveled near and far to join us for the event. We have a variety of tracks. STEM is such a broad subject that it's great to have an event like this with such cross-fertilization of different thematic areas. So you can see just in terms of some of the tracks that will be represented by our presenters over the next few days. But then at this point, we're really very excited that we've had such senior representatives from the government of Kenya join us to help kick off this event officially. It's my pleasure to introduce Ambassador Professor Julius Kibet-Batok, the Principal Secretary of Basic Education, to provide some welcoming remarks, including recognizing some of our other attendees. Professor Julius, thank you for joining us.
Honorable Julius Migos, who is the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Kenya. Honorable Minister Jesse Kabwila, Minister for Higher Education, Malawi. Honorable Owen Sabelo Nuxmalo, Minister of Education and Training, Eswatini. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it well. Honorable Professor Pierre Gomez, Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology from the Republic of Gambia. Senior government officials present, all distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. How are you this afternoon? I want to believe you are fine. You are? STEMtastic. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing. It's called STEMtastic Adventures. What an interesting name. My name is Ambassador Professor Julius Bitok. I am the Principal Secretary of the Government of Kenya. Government of Kenya is very keen on what we call competence-based education. We have now reviewed our curriculum, and we are now on competence-based education. And competence-based education has 3 pathways. The first pathway is STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The second one is arts and sports. The third one is social sciences. The government of Kenya now is at grade 9, transitioning to grade 10 on CBE, competence-based education. And we are encouraging our learners to do more of the STEM. So this conference is coming at a time when the government is really focusing more. And if you look around the world, countries which are focused on STEM, on sciences, engineering, mathematics, tended to have moved faster in development than countries which are focused on other areas. So I wanted to say that the government of Kenya is so keen, and it is in line with Vision 2030. It is in line with what we are calling better, that is bottom-up economic transformation agenda, because science is so important. And I have an experience a little bit of when I was doing my PhD in America about 15 years ago. My professor was an engineer, and yet he was a professor of finance. He told me, if you encourage learners to have a foundation on engineering and sciences, they tend to be better in terms of reasoning, in terms of analysis, in the long run, than when you encourage learners to go the soft areas like arts and social sciences. That is what I was told about 15 years ago. And the engineer was a mechanical engineer for first degree. Later on, he decided to go to social sciences. He did finance for MBA, and then later on he did PhD in finance. But he said his background in mechanical engineering was what had helped him so much to advance. That was in Oklahoma State University about 15 years ago. Now, as I start the adventure called STEMtastic, you'll excuse me, STEMtastic. I don't know whether it was deliberate. Allow me to recognize Waziri, our chief guest, the senior government officials who are here this afternoon. Allow me, I know it will take a little bit of time, to read them by name. The first one, if I read your name, you can stand up and wave. Honorable Fuli Amos Ama, Deputy Minister for Instruction, Minister of Education, Liberia. If you are in there, you can wave. Thank you very much, Madam. Makofi, tafadhali. Let's clap for her. Dr. Chomora Mkeka, Director of Science and Technology Innovation, Minister of Education, Malawi. Are you around here? Oh, very good. Thank you very much. Gift Chiponde, Science Communications Officer, Minister of Education, Malawi. Are you somewhere there? Let's see you. All right, thank you very much. Mr. Samba Sowe, Director of Science, Technology, Innovation, Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology from the Republic of Gambia. Are you in there, Makofi? Thank you very much. The next one is Madam Kanisile Makoena, Senior Inspector for Mathematics, Ministry of Education and Training, Eswatini. Okay, Makofi, welcome her. Thank you very much, Madam. The next one is Madam Fumlile Dlamini, Senior Inspector of Science, Ministry of Education of Eswatini again. Makofi, Thank you, Lamini. The next one is Madam Sankei M. Freeman, Deputy Director of STEM, Ministry of Education, Liberia. Makofi kwake. Thank you very much. The next one is Madam Julia Kalubo Sandelman Belay, Executive Director of Center for Excellence for Curriculum Development and Textbook Research Center, Ministry of Education, Liberia. Thank you very much. Makofi kwake. Your name is very long. The next one is Dolo Suda Adolpas, Director of Policy, Ministry of Education, Liberia. Makofi kwake. Thank you very much. The next guest, senior government official, is Dr. Joshua Valeta, Director of Open Distance and E-Learning, Ministry of Education, Malawi. You can stand up, please. We clap for you. Thank you very much. The next one is Adriano Andrede Moreno Fernandez, Director of Education, Ministry of Education, Cape Verde. Oh, he's back there. Thank you very much. The next officer is Selo Dakabana Gabriel Mabadhoana, Project Manager for the 3-stream model, Department of Basic Education from the Republic of South Africa. I am Makofi kwake. Thank you very much. The next one is Michael John Wilter, Special Advisor to the Minister, Department of Basic Education, Republic of South Africa. Makofi kwake tena is there. Thank you very much. The next is Modiba Laban Fossa, Chief Education Specialist, Mathematics, Science and Technology, Curriculum Innovation and E-Learning, Department of Basic Education of the Republic of South Africa. Makofi kwake. Thank you very much for coming. The next is Michael Ngweti Ndogfak, Lead Inspector of Pedagogy, Educational Technologies, Ministry of Basic Education, the Republic of Cameroon. Right here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The next is Simbaye Bartholomew, Provincial Director of Education in Bubanza, Ministry of Education, Republic of Burundi. Makofi kwake. Thank you very much. The next is David Livingstone Gusongoye, Senior Assistant Secretary, Ministry of Education and Sports, Republic of Uganda. Thank you very much. The next is Vieko Uahengo, Associate Dean of Science, University of Namibia, Ministry of Education, Republic of Namibia. Thank you very much. Thank you. The next is Professor Sizi Smile, Deputy Director General, Ghana Educational Service, Republic of Ghana. Thank you very much. Next is Mweneni Mother Shahungu, Manager, Policy and Program Development and Council Services, National Commission on Research, Science and Technology, Republic of Namibia. She's right there. Thank you very much. The next is Momodu Jeng, Deputy Director General of the Republic of Gambia. Makofi kwake. Thank you. He's right there. The next is Teti Peter Kwaku, Principal Program Officer STEM, Ministry of Education, Republic of Ghana. Thank you very much. He's right there. The next is Modiba Laban Fossa. I think I've introduced that one. Right? The next is Bonicio Amido Mosa, Learning Project, Republic of Mozambique. Makofi kwake is right there. The next is Agbado Larry Kofi, Deputy Executive Director, Center for National Distance Learning and Open Schooling, Republic of Ghana. He's right here. Makofi kwake. Thank you very much. The next is Nicholas William Ayman, Chief Education Officer, National Advisory Services, Program and Quality Assurance, Ministry of Education and Arts, Republic of Namibia. Right there, thank you very much. Last but not least, Mary Chokani Mbonda, Digital Education Specialist, Republic of Malawi. Oh, she's just right there. I think STEMtastic Adventures is really African. Honorable Minister Julius Migos, allow me to request the ministers present here to be able to make a few remarks before we invite the chief guest. Let me start with Honorable Minister Jesse Kabwila, Minister for Higher Education, Republic of Malawi. Karibu, the podium is yours, Waziri. Madam Minister, welcome. Let's put our hands together as we welcome the Minister Kabwila from the Republic of Malawi to make a few remarks. Karibu, Waziri. Waziri's Minister. Thank you.
Let me start by recognizing the Minister for Education. I'm not sure if it's higher or basic or it's everything together. Okay. All right. So let me recognize, well, in the job of politics, which is where my brother is, you need to be very clear who you are talking to. Otherwise, you can make mistakes. So let me recognize the Minister of Education, the one hosting us. Thank you very much. We've received a very warm welcome. I would like to recognize my brothers. With my Eswatini brother, we're together a few weeks ago, but I think in the Gambia. Those representing our ministers, I think, let me recognize you too. My comments are going to be that can transcend gender, that can transcend space, one that actually levels the playing field, which is a very crucial thing for African countries. I dare say, I am standing here proudly talking about STEMtastic Africa because this is a borderless opportunity. This is an opportunity that actually transcends the borders that were drawn mostly in order to divide us, not to unite us. But as I stand here, we are able to communicate on our phones and talk to someone who is not even here. They can answer, they can reply, they can draw, they can sing. We can create. For me, I think it's the opportunity, not only of innovation, but for us to solve our day-to-day problems. I keep saying this because for a long time, education has been education for its sake. But for our continent, given the poverty levels that are there, we cannot afford to have education for its own sake. We are looking for education as a solution, as a job creator, as something which will put money in the pockets of our young ones. We have a demographic dividend, and for this continent, if we do not solve the job creation problem, if we do not solve how much the nation state that we inherited from Western, or is it Eastern states, we actually are at the apex of a class war. We can have the youth rise against the nation state simply because of frustration. So this is an opportunity, not only for people to create jobs, but for us to govern ourselves more equitably, more inclusively. We are looking at EduTech for us to, for the first time, make the nation state work for its citizens. That's what this is about. At least for me, somebody who comes from a very solid background, and let me just remind, I did go to school. I hold a PhD. So, yeah. No, it's very important, especially for the gender of my kind. we normally are taken for granted. It's either we are called Mrs. someone or the mother of someone, but rarely are we given accolades for what we have attained. And I stand here a very proud woman, an African woman, for what I've achieved. And the reason I'm saying this is crucial is because as an African woman, I am very proud. In fact, what I loved was the linkage of STEMtastic adventures, linking that with Africa. Because for a long time, we have not been seen as people who take risks. We've been very routine. You know, we are told to go to school, after that you do this. They tell you what to do before you even have a chance to think. But today, as we sit here, there are opportunities. And I stand here very proud from Malawi because of one, there is strong political will in my country to make sure that every student has an access to a tablet. Because sometimes, many people, it is crucial, you know, because there are so many people who say, how can you not know how to drive, yet you never had a car? How are you expected to drive when nobody taught you? And for many Africans, we are judged to be not as literate when the doors to literacy had to be paid. They needed money, and some of us never had them. So for Dr. Lazarus Makati Chakwera, of whom I am the first Minister of Higher Education, a senior cabinet minister, the issue of making sure that every student from basic, secondary, right up to university, focusing especially on a necessary approach that looks at you know, the younger they are, the better. This business of thinking, no, we can start at university, nothing could be further from the truth. We need a foundational approach to these gadgets. I think as we were walking around the village, we saw how much innovation is being displayed by 6-year-olds. Yet we want to tell them, yet most of us don't even know, you know, how to use these gadgets. The young ones know how to use them better than us. So I think number one for Malawi, I'm glad to say political will is very important. That's why when I look at my fellow academics and they say, I don't do politics, I laugh at them. The issue is not doing politics, but what kind of politics. Today we are talking about politics that's talking about STEMtastic. So I stand here to say, let's do STEMtastic politics. Let's meet here and talk about how do we extend gadgets. That's why Malawi is prioritizing making sure that gadgets are in everyone's hands, in the women. They will help us in health, they will help us in agriculture, they will help us in education, they will help us to move this continent and break the poverty cycle. The other thing that Malawi is really heavy on is making sure that we are training the teachers. We need to get this correct from the factory, because garbage in is garbage out. If you are going to have teachers who are afraid of ChatGPT, teachers who think they can wish away AI, there's nothing like that. You need to embrace it and be able to, that when you are marking an assignment, you actually know that I'm stronger because of AI, rather than say, I don't like students who use AI. Well, AI is here to stay. Yeah. There, finally, what I also want to emphasize on is in Malawi, we are doing all we can to make sure that we boost infrastructure. We make sure that we put infrastructure, because these are the things that are the major challenges. And as a team, we are here to scale up our best practices and make sure that as the whole of the continent, we coordinate our things. Because one thing that's very clear, people are doing very good things, but we are not working as a team. We need to be organized. That way this continent will actually decide how STEMtastic works, rather than us being reactive. Thank you very much for listening.
A better hand of Minister Kabila. That was powerful. Yes, and I think you are mean with your claps. Can you put our hands together? Mm-hmm. That was indeed powerful, and I realized that you have a long name, just like mine. Honorable Minister Doctor. I think somebody was leaving out doctor deliberately. I don't know why. Jesse Kabwila. That was very good. And you raised very fundamental issues, and we really appreciate your contribution. You are saying you no longer want ordinary politics. You want what you call STEM? STEMtastic politics. And I was thinking when I was seated there that our president is a scientist. He usually practices that STEMtastic politics. That's why he's very successful. That's why he's very successful. Anyway, maybe we need a conversation on that. Now, allow me, Waziri Julius Migos, Minister for Education, Kenya, to invite Honorable Owen Sabelo Nzumalo, Minister for Education and Training of Eswatini. Let's put our hands together to invite him. Karibu. Welcome, Minister.
I want to pass greetings from my King, His Majesty, the King Mswati III, and our Idlovogazi, the Queen Mother. He has taken everything. I don't want to bore your time. He has said it all for me. What I want to say is just that let's influence our governments to invest to education, because they are pushing us to prioritize on infrastructure and all other big projects, forgetting to invest to our children for the future. By so doing, we will increase our economy. I am a politician, but I'm proud of being a politician, not a doctor, an influencer, a politician. So in my country, I'm pushing for my government to invest more. Thank you very much, Minister, for the warm welcome that I've received. You are taking us seriously, the protocol, the warm reception, and the food. I'm very, very much happy. Even in my country, we are reviewing our curriculum. We are also in the CBE, and you are transforming to A-levels and AS in my country, so that our students will be able to compete globally. I've learned a lot here, and I think we'll continue to access programs for the benefit of our children. Thank you very much, Excellency.
Allow me to request you again to put your hands together for Honorable Owen Nzumalo. And another special clap for the greetings from His Excellency the King. Thank you very much, the Minister. We have received greetings from the King of Eswatini. The third minister to speak to us this afternoon is Honorable Professor Pierre Gomez, Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology from the Republic of Gambia. Let's put our hands together to invite the Minister. Karibu sana, Minister. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Piers. Honorable Minister Julius and Honorable Ministers from Swatini and Malawi, and heads of delegations, co-organizers, senior government officials from different countries here present, and all educationists. I bring greetings from the Republic of the Gambia, the Smiling Coast, where we have a clear STEMtastic vision from His Excellency President Adama Barrow. Honorable Minister, we are very grateful, first of all, for the warm welcome from the airport to today. And since in the morning, I've been eating delicious food. I told my people they can go back to Banjul and leave me here, at least for 1 year. Thank you very much for this academic discussion, engagement, where we come together to reflect about the future. A future anchored on education, a future anchored on STEM. Yes, that's the way forward. In the Gambia now, we believe that the new turn must be anchored on STEM for the emergence of a new African citizenry that will be the beacon of hope, the laborers of Africa of today and tomorrow. There cannot be any sustainable development if it is not anchored on science and technology, if it is not anchored on TVET, if it is anchored on the new norm. And the new norm is TVET, is the future that will shape the job of tomorrow. Then for Africa to be part of that banquet, we need to prepare our youths. We were reminded this morning that over 60% of our population is around 25 years. What can we do for them? What can we put on the table? What type of hope can we give them? If not, they will have, they will lose hope. And then the next thing, like in some parts of Africa where I come from, in West Africa, will suffer from what we call the irregular migration. In my country, we say the Bagway syndrome. We've seen some of them going through the desert and in concentration camps. We've seen some of them trying to cross the Mediterranean Sea, and that sea is now an open cemetery. What can we put forward as policymakers? Some of us coming from education family, our only response is education. Education must be functional. Education must give hope. And Frederick Douglass, in his famous book, Narratives and Times of Frederick Douglass, said that education is the road to freedom. Let's allow the youths to get that freedom so that they can stay in their own backyards and feed themselves, feed their family, feed the nation. You cannot go to school and come back and be begging in style. Yes, with STEMtastic adventures, we can also say no to all those challenges and give hope to these youths. So, Honorable Minister, the Gambia government is very, very grateful for this opportunity where you give us the chance to network with our brothers and sisters within the education family so that we feel inspired and go back to Banjul and restore that hope. And then the faces to be shining, faces of the youths of the Gambia to be shining, and also for them to have that hope. For us to give them that opportunity, the skill sets. And this is the opportunity that we will take home with, and we have no doubt that we will continue in that dialogue. Yes, in the Gambia, for us, we've tried now to not move away, consolidate what we have, the general education, but then now invoke the second stream of education, which is anchored on STEM, TVET in general, so that it is hands-on. But in doing so, now laying the foundation agenda of the transformation of our higher education. That's the reason why we're now transforming some of our institutions, as I stated earlier on. Our famous Gambia College, which was the teacher training, now to transform into a University of Education. One at the University of Gambia, one at the college. A country that doesn't have enough resources, we decide to bring them together, one from ECD to PhD. Then also the Gambia Technical Training Institute, GTTI, transform it into University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology, USET, to be training only the engineers. Yes, other countries lay the foundation in the early 60s. For us, unfortunately, since independence, we did not do that much in that area. But better late than never. But we have the strong belief. And I started discussing with Honorable Minister. We have hope because we're going to now network and ask for the support of all our brothers and sisters to come together and be able to help each other. And Africa will be able to respond to Africa's problem. Gone are those days whenever we have issues, we think of Paris, London, Washington, and so on. I always tell my students that science is science. There's no science for Banjul, mathematical formula for Banjul, and one for Oxford, the other one for Nairobi. It's the same formula. You just need to apply it. And I have no doubt that with the good suggestions coming out from here, we will go back and signpost our higher education ecosystem, ensuring that it is functional, ensuring that we respond to the challenges, and we have that conversation with the industry, so that whatever we do is not in isolation. It is in line with the industry, so that our products, when they go out, they don't need to be retrained, because that would have been a failure from our side. So, Your Excellency, rendezvous of development, because development is now, it cannot be postponed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Professor Biero Gomez, Minister for Education, Republic of Gambia. Let's put our hands together again to appreciate STEMtastic Africa. STEMtastic. STEMtastic. I'm not the only one who cannot pronounce. STEMtastic Africa. You know, we started with agrarian revolution in the 19th century. We came to industrial revolution. Now we are in technology revolution. The future of Africa is in STEMtastic. That is why this meeting is very, very, very important, because that is what is driving the world. And if you see countries which have been able to advance faster, it's because of STEMtastic. That one. So allow me now to...
Representatives of regional and international organizations here present, esteemed development partners, distinguished researchers and educators, innovators and STEM professionals, STEM champions from across Africa and beyond, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, STEMtastic afternoon. When I was listening to my PS, Professor Julius Bitok, he said something about the fact that reasoning is better for those who have done their first degree in engineering. That is what his professor told him. I wanted to speak for those of us whose first degree is not in engineering. And just say, Professor, our reasoning is okay. Just in case they go home worried that there could be something wrong with their reasoning. It is therefore with immense pride and great pleasure that I join you here today for the official opening of the STEMtastic Adventures Africa 2025. On behalf of the Government of Kenya and of the Ministry of Education, I extend a warm welcome to you all, participants, educators, policymakers, innovators, learners, and our esteemed international guests gathered here today at STEMtastic. We are elated to host you here today in STEMtastic, which in itself is a beacon of teacher empowerment and pedagogical excellence in STEM education across the continent. The theme of this symposium, Innovative STEM Pedagogies, Collaboration, Equity, and Sustainable Development, could not be more relevant, timely, or urgent. In an era where Africa stands at the cusp of unprecedented opportunity, it is clear that science, technology, engineering, and mathematics are not just academic disciplines. They are the very engines of Africa's transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa is home to the youngest population in the world. By 2050, it is projected that 1 in every 3 young people globally will be African. With such potential, our continent must harness its greatest asset, our youth, and equip them with the skills required to thrive in the current 4th industrial revolution, which is driven by emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, and the Internet of Things. This symposium is not just a conference. It is a clarion call to reimagine how we teach, learn, and innovate. For Kenya, this event is perfectly aligned with our national priorities under Vision 2030 and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, where education, particularly the competency-based education and the STEM pathway, play a central role in shaping a future-ready workforce. Kenya's education reforms, especially the shift to competency-based education, are designed to nurture learners who are not only knowledgeable, but also innovative, adaptive, and entrepreneurial. The CBE and a specialized STEM pathway empower learners to explore and deepen their interests in science and early on through structured learning experiences, inquiry-based projects, and hands-on experimentation. This symposium reinforces these reforms by promoting best practices in innovative STEM pedagogies, practices that make learning active, contextual, and relevant to real-life challenges. Our learners will not only consume knowledge, but also create it. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most exciting elements of the STEMtastic adventures is the STEM Village, a vibrant hub of student exhibitions, live demonstrations, interactive labs, and innovative showcases. This initiative brings learning to life and fosters curiosity, collaboration, and critical thinking among both learners and teachers. The active participation of students and teachers from across Africa in the STEM Village is more than symbolic. It is essential. When learners are exposed to relatable role models, practical activities, and cross-cultural collaboration, they begin to see STEM not as an abstract content, but as a path to pursue any possibility. We commend STEMtastic and our partners, including M Education Alliance and AUDA NEPAD, for creating this space where passion meets potential. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa cannot afford to leave anyone. We must be intentional in addressing the historical and structural barriers that limit girls, learners with disabilities, and marginalized communities from participating fully in STEM education. This symposium's commitment to equity and inclusion is commendable. Through shared learning, policy dialogue, and collaborative innovation, we can build a Pan-African STEM movement that is as diverse as it is dynamic. Moreover, regional and international partnerships forged here today will help us overcome common challenges whether it is teacher capacity, resource gaps, or curriculum alignment, and drive scalable impacts across the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, the African Union Agenda 2063 envisions an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in the global arena. Central to this vision is the role of science, technology, and innovation in advancing sustainable development, industrialization, and economic resilience. Whether it is through climate-smart agriculture, renewable energy, digital health, or clean manufacturing, STEM holds the key to solving Africa's most pressing challenges, including food security, climate change, and youth unemployment. Kenya is committed to ensuring that STEM becomes a national and continental priority, not just in words, but in policy, investment, and practice. As we begin this 4-day adventure in ideas, innovation, and inspiration, I urge every participant to think boldly, collaborate freely, and act with purpose. Let us challenge the status quo, break silos, and nurture a generation of African innovators, scientists, and problem solvers. Let this symposium ignite a lasting flame of inquiry and invention, not just in classrooms, but in homes, communities, and policy corridors across Africa. With those remarks, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor and privilege to officially declare STEMtastic Adventures Africa 2025 officially open. Asanteni sana, and may this be a STEMtastic experience for you all. And I hope that at the end of the 4 days, you will get time to visit our national park, which is right in the city here, so that you can experience a park that is right in the city, the only one, I think, in the whole world. Thank you, and God bless you all.
To the CS Kenya, the PS, honorable ministers, thank you for your wonderful remarks and for gracing our occasion. Before we continue, I'd like to invite us for a 3-minute interlude. This will be a very quick performance by our entertainment team. I have given them strictly 3 minutes. Thank you so much. Can I ask for another round of applause for them? All right, I will quickly wrap this up. But before we wrap up, I would like to take a moment to appreciate the incredible group of people who are all present here and have made this possible. I would like to begin with the CS Ministry Basic Education Kenya, and then the PS Basic Education Kenya. Thank you so much for allowing us to host this event in Kenya. I would also like to thank our honorable ministers. Thank you for traveling far and wide to grace our occasion, and of course for your wonderful remarks this afternoon. In that same spirit, I would also like to acknowledge our incredible co-hosts. I'll begin with the Center for Mathematics, Science and Technology Education in Africa. Mrs. Akatsa and your team, thank you so much for agreeing to co-host this event with us. I would also like to acknowledge the African Union Development Agency, AUDN EPAD, for being a key co-host for this. And last but not least, the Mobiles for Education Alliance for your incredible work in bringing all these people together. Aside from our co-hosts, I would also like to extend a special thank you to our sponsors who came together to provide the resources to make this event possible. We are so grateful and so honored for your support. I want to be partial to this group because this group has worked tirelessly over the last couple of months, not just weeks or days, months, to see this event come together. I would like to extend a special thank you and recognition to the symposium staff, whether that is the planning committees at STEMtastic, the team at the M Education Alliance, as well as the incredible team from the AUDN EPAD. Thank you so much for your work in giving our guests a warm welcome and a STEMtastic event. All right, before I conclude, this event would not have been an event without all of you incredible attendees, whether you're here in the capacity of a presenter or a general attendee. Thank you so much for agreeing to join us and for making this event what it is. All right, I will now ask for a round of applause for everyone that I have recognized as I was giving my vote of thanks. Please go. I will ask the rest of us to remain seated, but I would like to invite the CS and the PS, as well as our honorable ministers, to please join us for a photo session outside Sugiyama Hall.
We do the gift first. The gift.
Sorry, my bad. Please remain seated. We will be presenting some gifts to all of you incredible guests.
Yeah, thank you very much, Effie. Would like to present some gifts to our chief guest. And to start us off, we would like to request, with a lot of humility, the Minister for Education, Kenya, to present to the ministers, the honorable ministers from Eswatini, Malawi, and Gambia. So we'll start with Eswatini, the honorable minister from Eswatini. In the spirit of Ubuntu, in the spirit of oneness and togetherness, in promoting STEMtastic adventures in Africa. I will keep you warm, Honorable Minister. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Asante. Honorable Minister from Malawi. Yeah, Daktari, that will keep you warm. Thank you very much. And the Honorable Minister from Gambia. Thank you, sir. All right, thank you, Honorable Minister, our chief guest. And then I would like to invite Mr. Anthony Bloom to make the presentation to our chief guest and our peers. Going to present that to our Honorable Minister for Education. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. And Mr. Tony Bloom will also make the presentation to our peers, Professor Ambassador Julius Bitok. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, we are PS Professor Bitok kindly would like you to make a presentation to the CEO, STEMtastic, who is our host, and also to Mr. Anthony Bloom. Thank you. And for Anthony. He also receives as being part of the host. And one more to the Speaks Foundation representation. Okay. And the last one to UDA, NEPAD team to receive their gift. It's NEPAD team. The NEPAD team to receive the present. Okay. So Effie will receive on their behalf. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, of chief guest. Thank you very much, our chief guest. And our honorable ministers. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. As we wrap this up, we have one announcement to make. The Kenya, Rwanda, Liberia, Ghana delegation and the EdTech developers, you're kindly requested to proceed to the new dining hall for workshop 2 to continue with the session. Then after this, we will proceed with the honorable ministers first for a photo session outside this hall. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much and have yourself a good evening. The rest of us kindly let's stay seated as we have the honorable ministers head out.
Are we okay? Yeah, I just need to make a few announcements. Yeah. STEMtastic, good afternoon. I was such a proud teacher moment there when I had you remind the PS and the CS it is STEMtastic. So I will ask you to say it with me again. STEMtastic. Good afternoon. I have a few announcements to make as we are giving the ministers, the PS and the CS an opportunity to take some pictures outside. The STEM village is still running for the rest of the day, so if you haven't had a chance to stop by the exhibition booths, please do go see our exhibitors, say hello to them, learn some more about their work. There also will be workshops happening in the breakout rooms. So when I described it in the morning, I said it is to my right, and somebody came and said, you're standing here, but it is not to your right now. So I have to categorically state the building in the center. So there are 3 building blocks, and there's a second building in the center. So when you step outside this hall, the building in the center has all the breakout rooms. Please feel free to go to any of them. The room associated with a particular presentation is listed on the agenda. So if you're not sure where that presentation is happening, just look at the agenda. It will have the session title. It will also have the room. A few reminders about tomorrow. We will be beginning really early. If you join us at 8 a.m., you'll catch a STEMtastic breakfast with us before we proceed to an opening plenary that is happening from I will be keeping it down. I hope you can still hear me. We will be beginning with an opening plenary at 9 a.m. featuring our ecosystem builders. If you're here on time for that, you'll be able to catch that STEMtastic plenary session. And then last but not least, we will have an incredible lineup of presentations happening tomorrow. So please take some time tonight to have a look at the agenda, identify some sessions that would be of interest to you, and then mark them so that you do not miss them. Otherwise, I have been your STEMtastic MC, Effie, and I look forward to having... I am just being reminded, we will have a STEMtastic reception and dinner happening tomorrow at 4 p.m. So we will begin with a plenary session hosted by the Speaks Foundation and Team Respect. That will be happening from 4 p.m. in this hall, and then we'll proceed to a STEMtastic dinner that will also be hosted by them. So stay on the lookout for that. You do not want to miss it. All right, I would like to conclude by wishing you all, say it with me, a STEMtastic evening. Have a good rest of your day.